Thank you for choosing Altapure for your high-level disinfection needs. By utilizing our technology, you are part of an industry-wide effort to reduce hospital-acquired infections, protect patients, and save lives. The purpose of Altapure is total room high-level disinfection, typically the last step in an overall cleaning process. The system eliminates all pathogens, including spores, from all exposed surfaces in the room. The machine emits a fine aerosol of PAA, or peroxyacetic acid, that's comprised of hydrogen peroxide and acetic acid. The chemistry is non-toxic, food-safe, and biodegradable. PAA kills pathogens quickly and completely, most in 2 minutes. However, we allow the aerosol to dwell longer to ensure complete coverage. The chemistry is safe for all equipment and electronics in the room, and again, is non-toxic and food-safe. It degrades into water and a light vinegar smell. While the Altapure system could be used after every discharge and between all cases in the OR, a targeted approach is much more practical and time-friendly. Most facilities utilize the Altapure system after a terminal discharge, isolation discharge, any room in which a patient had an MDRO, or multi-drug resistant organism, and an end-of-day OR procedure. Ultimately, it's up to the facility to decide when the Altapure system will be utilized. The Altapure system is fast and easy to use because it's a set-it-and-forget-it system. It's controlled remotely via tablet. The tablet is very simple to use. The power button is located on the left side, and a short push will wake it from sleep mode, and a long push for about 10 to 20 seconds will power it down. It's important to keep the tablet charged. Look for the blue light to indicate that the tablet is charging properly. Moving on to the machine itself. The power cord for the machine needs a 20 amp outlet, as you can see from the turned prong here. There are 2 power switches, and both must be on for the machine to work. The main power switch is located here and will have a yellow-orange glow when it is turned on. The switch can be left in the on position at all times. The second switch is the red round knob, located to the left. Pull out to turn on. You'll see a red light and hear a beep from the machine. To turn off, push in. This is also the emergency stop for the machine. There are 3 displays that are mainly for Altapure service technicians. They indicate the number of hours for the transducers, scrubber, and filters. Seen here are 3 automatic vent cover power connections. The cord used to power the automatic vent covers are plugged in here. To disconnect, push this tab and pull out. The black square buttons to the left of the connections are the circuit breakers for the vent covers. Make sure they are not popped out with the white portion showing. Below to the right is the drain bottle. It's important to keep an eye on the level of the liquid inside. To empty the drain bottle, simply disconnect the dripless connection and lift over the metal divider. This liquid can be put down any drain. To replace, simply position the bottle and connect the tubing until you hear it click. Located on top of the AP4 is one of 2 storage racks. The top storage racks house the automatic vent covers, as well as a basket portion that has a bag that will hold the tablet, user manual, and other items needed to use the machine. Located to the right are the fill spouts. They are clearly marked as Altacare only in red and water only in blue. Do not put anything other than what is specified into the fill spouts. Deviating from the clearly labeled instructions could result in system malfunction and/or failure. The water that goes into the machine should be RO/DI water only. The caps are attached and should not be removed or switched. The aerosol fog comes out of these 4 outlets. It's important not to block them while the machine is in use. During storage, place these red caps onto the outlets to ensure that no dust or particulate fall into the machine. Located on this side of the machine is a hook to house the extra cording that powers the automatic vent covers, as well as the air intake. It's important to never block the air intake, especially when the machine is in use. Allow at least 2 feet of clearance and be sure that no curtains or bed sheets are near it as well. Located on the front of the machine is a filter cover door that should not be opened by anyone other than a certified Altapure service technician. Below that is the front storage rack, which houses the automatic vent cover tripods and manual poles. Be sure that when storing these poles that they are seated completely to the bottom of the rack For the automatic vent cover, the teeth should be outward, like so. Last but not least, on the bottom are the wheels. The back wheels are able to be locked by pressing down on the tab here with your foot. This keeps the back casters from swiveling so that it's easier to move the machine down the hallway. For positioning the machine in the room, it may be easier to have all 4 wheels unlocked so it can maneuver freely. It's important that the concentrated PAA agent is handled and stored properly. As noted on the box, the bottles must be stored upright. The cap is vented. If the bottles are not stored properly, the concentrated PAA could leak, causing damage to equipment and/or putting personnel in danger. Ideally, the PAA should be stored in a chemical cabinet. Keeping all bottles in the box, even the empty ones, helps to keep the bottles upright at all times. Used bottles can be rinsed and disposed of. The concentrate has a shelf life of 1 year and the expiration date is on the bottle. When handling the concentrate, gloves and eye protection are recommended. The room being treated needs to be sealed properly. This is to ensure that the submicron aerosol does not travel to other rooms and so that it stays at a density to which it is most effective. Sealing vents can be stored with Altapure's patented vent cover system. The automatic vent cover tripods are plugged into the machine and will come down about 6 inches halfway through the dehumidification process. This utilizes the room's HVAC system to get the space back to ambient humidity. As such, there should be nothing blocking the path of the vent covers once they are set up. Manual vent cover pulls are also provided and are great to use in tighter spaces or in rooms that have more than 2 vents. In the rooms that have vents on the walls, such as operating rooms, plastic sheeting and/or tape can be used to seal them. The automatic tripods are easy to use and store. They are collapsible and store easily into the rack at the front of the AP4. To set up, lift out of the rack and pull the pin located here. The arms of the tripod will come down, and then you lift the pole slightly until you hear the pin lock into place at the bottom hole. Be sure not to turn the pin when you pull it out, as this will prevent it from locking. Secure the vent cover onto the tripod by turning the thumb screws righty-tighty. Check the security of the fit before raising the vent cover to the ceiling. Plug the cord into the vent cover tripod drive box and the connector into the rear panel of the AP4. You can store the slack of the cord gently on the hooks on the rack of the AP4. Use the red switch to raise the vent cover to the ceiling slowly, being sure to line up the cover properly with the vent. After the cycle is done, you can use the red switch to bring the vent cover back down, or you can hit Vents Down on the tablet. Please always practice situational awareness and make sure there is nothing in the vent cover's path as you are bringing it down. Unplug the cord from the tripod and store gently onto the storage hooks. To fold and store, simply pull the pin out and lift on the pin up to bring the arms back into the storage position. The pin should lock into the top hole position. Using the manual pulls is very easy. Simply press on the release and pull up on the inner pole. To collapse, press the release again and guide the inner pole downwards. To attach the vent cover to the manual pole, look for the threaded block and screw the pole into the cover. Make your workspace work for you, and as always, practice situational awareness and be mindful of your surroundings. Line up the vent cover with the ceiling and secure the pole with one of the notches. If the ceiling height is between 2 notches, you can give yourself a bit more wiggle room by unscrewing 1 to 2 threads to create a proper seal. However, if you do this, be sure to fully screw back in the pole before lowering it. Lower the vent cover slowly, using 2 hands, one to steady the pole and the other to guide the inner pole downwards in a controlled manner. Remove the vent and place back onto the storage rack. As for the smoke detector covers, they work in the same manner as our vent covers. Not every room will have a smoke detector, but in the event that it does, we've provided equipment that should work for most smoke detector models. Please note, only the actual smoke detector needs to be covered. The sprinkler system does not. Everything needed to use the AP4 can be stored on the racks of the AP4. The vent covers are stored on the top rack. Be mindful of the foam tape. If you're not careful, the foam tape can shift, which will affect the seal. Manual poles and tripods are stored on the front rack. The tripods are stored on either side and the racks are formed so the tripod goes in a certain way with the teeth facing out. If the tripod does not go in easily, try to rotate it until the teeth are facing outward and it slides easily into the rack. Be sure that the poles and tripods are fully seated to the bottom of the rack. If there are low ceilings, you can store the manual poles diagonally, like this, which should give you plenty of clearance for ramps or lower doorways. Do not attempt to service or do any maintenance on the machine yourself. The only maintenance required of you to do is maintaining the fluid levels. The machine does not need to be disinfected as it disinfects itself every time it's used in a room. However, if the machine does get dusty or dirty, wipe it down with a damp microfiber cloth. All other maintenance shall be done by a certified Altapure service technician. Now that we have a good understanding of the equipment of the machine, let's move on to a typical cycle protocol. Before bringing the machine into a room, verify the fluid levels and fill if needed. When handling the Altacare, it's important to wear personal protective equipment, or PPE. Goggles and gloves are recommended. Remember, RO/DI water only. Any particles in the water will end up on room surfaces. For the concentrate, only fill if the level is below 20%, so you can empty a full bottle of Altacare into the reservoir. The bar will change to yellow when it's below 20%. Also note if the mix tank is expired. If so, drain the mix tank. Keep in mind that the mix tank will expire after 72 hours of non-use. Finally, check the drain bottle doesn't need to be emptied. Once fluid levels, drain bottle, and mix tank are verified, the machine is ready to be brought into the room. Should the room size not already be programmed into the tablet, there is a very easy way to figure out the size of a room. Many ceiling tiles are 2 by 2, just like our vent covers. Simply count the ceiling tiles and determine a room's length and width. If a room does not have ceiling tiles, it may have 1 foot by 1 foot floor tiles that can be counted as well. For the height of the room, most hospital rooms are between 8 and 10 feet. Use a measuring tape if you aren't certain. A terminal clean with bleach is not necessary with the Altapure system. A basic clean, taking care of all gross contaminants such as biologics, food, and dust and dirt, is all that is needed. Take care of all the contamination you can see, and Altapure will take care of the pathogens and bioburden that you can't see. To ensure Altapure works most effectively, before starting the cycle, strip the bed of linens and prop the mattress up. Remove the trash bags from the bins. Open the drawers you wish to have disinfected, and open up the recliners. Remove any sterile packaged items or put them in a closed drawer or cabinet. Lastly, should a curtain not be visibly soiled, open it up completely so that the Altapure system can disinfect it. Be sure to take out any live plants that may be in the room. And if the AP4 is being used in an operating room, it is suggested that a Da Vinci surgical robot not be present, because we have never tested our process with this device. Position the machine as close to the center of the room as feasible, and, if possible, direct the fog outlets towards the bathroom with the bathroom door open. To ensure treatment of unexposed contact surfaces, place a hospital disinfectant wipe effective against Clostridium difficile spores under each point of contact. Allow about 3 feet in front of the machine where the aerosol comes out, and make sure nothing is close to the air intake, including curtains and bed sheets. Plug in the machine and pull out the red knob. Wake up the tablet and the connection should establish in a few seconds. Hit Start Cycle. Enter your username, room number, and the reason for using the machine. Verify your cycle times and hit Confirm. The machine will fill and preheat. During this time, you can set up the vent covers and smoke detectors. When setting up the vent covers, be sure to tighten the fasteners completely, righty-tighty. Make sure the bathroom door, cabinets, and drawers are open. Tape over any odd openings and bring in any equipment desired to be disinfected, such as wheelchairs or monitoring equipment. Then exit the room and close and tape the door. The control tablet is connected to the AP4 via Bluetooth, so as long as it is within 30 feet of the machine, it should establish a connection automatically. Should the user be more comfortable operating the AP4 in Spanish, that can be done by pressing Español in the bottom left corner. To change back to English, just press English located in the same spot. The main display shows the connection status, fluid levels, and mix tank timer. The mix tank expires after 72 hours. If the mixture is expired, you will not be able to move forward with any function other than draining the mix tank by pressing this button. The liquid will empty into the drain bottle. To run a cycle, hit Start Cycle. Enter your login info, then enter the room number. Select your reason. This does not change the time of the cycle. It is strictly for data tracking. Then check the cycle times to make sure they are correct and hit Confirm. If the room is not entered in the database, you can enter the room dimensions or choose a preset room size. The machine will now fill and preheat, and this would be a good time to set up the vent covers and make sure the linen is off the bed and the room is ready to be treated. Once everything is ready, you can leave the room and tape the door from the outside. When the machine is fully preheated, a 100% green status bar will appear. It is important to not let the machine stay preheated for too long. To run a custom cycle, tap Choose Preset Size or Custom Cycle. At the bottom of the next screen, you'll see Set Custom Room and enter the correct numbers. Be sure that the indicator circle next to the custom cycle times is filled with the black dot. While the cycle is running, you can save battery on the tablet by putting it in sleep mode with a short press of the side power button. You can also put it in sleep mode or shut it off completely when the AP4 is not in use. When storing the tablet, be sure to keep it charging. This ensures that when it is needed, it will have a full charge cycle. There are some functions on the tablet that require the physical keyboard that's typically kept with the supervisor or manager so that not all users can make changes in admin options. Verify everything is sealed and ready, then press Start Process on the tablet. The file will deploy. Keep the tablet close to the room so that it stays connected to the machine. Stay close for the first minute or so of the deploy to be sure no aerosol is escaping from the room. Check the remaining time to know when to come back for room teardown. Then you can tend to other duties while the cycle is running. Once the cycle is complete, the tablet will show all phases as done and the status will show Cycle Complete. Press Exit to return to the main screen. The room can be entered immediately upon cycle completion. There will be a slight vinegar smell. You can keep the door propped open to aid in airing out. On the tablet, press Scrubber Off and Vents Down. Be sure that nothing is in the way of the vents as they lower. Return the room to normal setup for patient. Make sure everything is back on the machine and unplugged and remove the system from the room. The room is now free from pathogens and ready for patient entry. There are a few situations that could arise while using the Altapure technology in handling the PAA concentrate. It's important to always practice situational awareness and abide by all safety instructions. One should always place the provided sign on the door of the room being Altapured that advises those around not to enter the room. Should someone need to enter a room mid-cycle, immediately hit Cancel Cycle on the tablet. This will instantly turn on the air reprocessor and carbon scrubber, and the room will begin to clear. Put on a mask and eye protection before entering the room. While the PAA is non-toxic, exposure to the submicron aerosol may be uncomfortable. If someone doesn't see the sign or disregards it and still manages to get into the room through the taped door, he or she may start to experience some coughing and eye irritation. They should leave and reseal the room immediately. The irritation to the eyes and lungs should dissipate quickly, but to speed up the process, they can wash out their eyes and go to a room with fresh air and breathe deeply. If the machine is left in preheat 100% for too long, the machine may overheat, causing two fog modules to stop working. Damage will result if this happens repeatedly. This is not a catastrophic error, as in the cycle will still run, but the deploy will take longer. The tablet will automatically calculate the added deploy time, and an error message will appear at the bottom of the screen. It is best to start the cycle within 30 to 60 seconds of the preheat completion. The tablet runs out of battery mid-cycle. The cycle will still complete as normal. It's just that the display screen will not be showing, and unless you started a timer or marked the time, it'll be difficult to know when the cycle is complete and the room is safe to enter. If you notice the tablet might be low on battery prior to starting your cycle, you should charge the tablet while the cycle is running. And there you have it. The Altapure high-level disinfection system is simple to use, fast, and the most effective system in the world. If you need assistance or want more information, go to our website or call the number on your screen. And from all of us here at Altapure, thanks for being part of our team.